Am I on? Hello, hello, hello. I'm not sure if I'm on or not, but welcome tonight. I pray that you all can hear me very well because I want to make sure that we are having good communication quality here. Listen, I'm excited about tonight because I have one of my spiritual daughters, and she is just phenomenal. And her testimony is absolutely powerful. I had her on before with another one of my spiritual daughters, and they just took over the platform. So tonight, I asked her to come back and be one of our guests on tonight because she have a never-ending story. But before I take you there, I'm definitely excited, as you can see, because I didn't even tell you all who I was. But I am Dr. Cint Gilstrap, and this is Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling on Friday, April the 12th in Atlanta, Georgia at 8:08. And so we come every second Friday to deal with natural issues. We come real, we come raw, and we come without judgment. And so this is the platform that we literally take out the time to deal with issues. And the topic tonight, which is a part two conversation, is dealing with narcissistic people. And so on our last live that we had, this woman of God came on and she said that she was the narcissist. And I asked her if she would come back and share that conversation piece because many times we hear about the narcissist from the victim, but we never hear from the other person, from the assailant. So tonight she is here with us, and I'm definitely excited about this conversation that we are getting ready to embark upon. But before I bring her up, I want to say thank all of our supporters, to each one of those that subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To all of the Testament Tuesday viewers and those that support this ministry, to my GEIL family, I appreciate you. Just to each and every one of you that pray for all that we do on this side, I'm so appreciative and I'm so honored. I have been in a totality of ministry for 30 years, and it's been some highs and lows, but when you find people that really support you and have your back, it makes a difference. So again, thank all of the supporters. Thank you all that truly pray for this ministry and pray for myself. I again appreciate you. With that being said, listen, we have a networking tool or branding tool that I want you all to take advantage of. And so all of you that desire to have your story read, but you're not a writer, you said, Apostle, I just need somebody, Doctor, I need somebody to write it for me. We have a tool for you, VOC Magazine. We're the voices of champions, and we would be honored to write your story in our magazine publication. We are a digital magazine. So with that being said, you can read it or you can see it on social media, or you can see it while you're riding in the car on your tablets, or however your experience is. But we are a digital magazine. And so we're definitely excited about our issue that's coming out in May for Mother's Day. And who knows what the front cover is going to be. So look out for VOC Magazine, which is the Voices of Champions. Also, those that are interested in a digital experience as it relates to billboards, we have those available for you as well. Well, guess what? This Mother's Day, we're going to be in the streets of Atlanta. Actually, we've adopted as well our elderly home. We will be passing out purses and toiletries to those that are in women that are in elderly facilities, or what they call long assisted living programs. So we want to show them some love. So those of you that are interested in sharing or making a donation or a contribution, you're more than welcome to do so. You can send your information. You can send monetary donation, however you want to do it. We are open. So if you desire to send toiletries, you desire to send purses, or you desire to send book bags, we are open. You can send it to Cint Gilstrap Ministries, P.O. Box 391263. That's Snellville, Georgia 30039. Again, that's Cint Gilstrap Ministries, P.O. Box 391263, Snellville, Georgia 30039. 539. So I'm definitely excited about Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up. But more than anything about this topic of discussion we're going to have on tonight, I am so honored again that she trusts me as her spiritual mother, as her covering, as her mentor, and the God in me to come back with us on tonight. I asked her, I said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share some things about yourself. Give me something to share. Give me something to share with the audience. And this is what she said to me. Tiffany Velez is a proud mother of 6 children. She take pride in being an oracle for the Lord while preparing for her birth out her ministry. She was born in East Harlem, New York City. She currently resides in Covington, Georgia. She now has a social media following and a platform on Facebook. The entitled is Tiffany's Open Heart Diaries, which is no judgment zone. That sounds like her spiritual mom. Her platform is strictly a safe place to be real, be raw. That sounds like her spiritual mom. And up close and personal. Her goal is to reach the real, the wounded, and the castaway, those that have been pushed to the side, of course. Her mission is to spread love while bringing real issues to the forefront and the kingdom vision to life. So, with that being said, listen on tonight. You all get ready because I'm telling you, she is definitely a transparent person. She's authentic, she's real, and she raw. I can respect that. It's the people that aren't real and aren't raw and aren't authentic that I have a problem and issue with. So, without any further ado, I present to some and introduce to others none other than my spiritual daughter, as well as the woman of God and the oracle herself, Tiffany Velez. Come on and put your hands together. God bless you. God bless you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hello, Bishop. How are you?
Hello. Turn your volume up a little bit.
All right. Is that good?
A little
That's
better.
better?
Is it? Can you go
Okay.
louder than that?
Let me see. Let me see. Hold on.
Okay.
How's that? That
Worse.
still is worse?
Say something
Give
now.
me
Let me
one
see.
second.
Your
Give me one
phone
second.
is your phone off of is far away from you?
How is this?
Oh, that's better. I can hear you definitely clear
Is this
now.
better?
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
better?
Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. All right. So the last conversation you and I had, of course, Prophetess Shay was on with us, but you began to talk about. Thank you, Apostle Gibb says still sound a little muffled, but we began to talk about. We were talking about narcissism and narcissistic people. And I found this to be a current and a hot topic for some reason. I know in my days in the 80s and 90s and 70s, back to the 1900s, we called it domestic violence. But now it's taken on a different face. Why it's taken on a different face, I guess the culture or the society that we live in today has just shifted things and now is focused on the narcissistic and the narcissism person. So, with that being said, our last conversation was Apostle, I am the narcissist. So, help me understand how or what made you come right out and share the fact that you are the narcissist, because many people try to hide it, many people are in denial of it, but you were upfront and personal. Why was that?
Um, the reason being is because I don't see anything to be ashamed of. It's more common than we like to admit. Um, there's you have to understand a narcissist, and the different levels of it. And You have something that's um, being a narcissist. That's a trait.
Mm.
Many people have it,
Mm-hmm.
but having narcissism, personality disorder, that's something completely different. That's something that you're diagnosed with. Now, for
Mm.
instance, I was not diagnosed with being a narcissist. I recognize that I have the traits and I'm not ashamed of it.
Mm.
Um, it's something that I need to work on through prayer. And let me say, you make a choice. You have to, you make a choice. When you're not diagnosed with this and you carry the traits of a narcissist, that's a choice. You're choosing to act on it or to hold back and not act on it. Um, yes, situations will occur that may trigger that. Are you having a hard time with hearing me?
Mm-mm.
Situations may occur where it may trigger you to bring those traits out.
Okay.
Um, but God is free will. He gives us the choice and the freedom to choose right or wrong. And it's not easy to hold back when that's something that you've practiced. And I'm going to say practice because it becomes a ritual and then it becomes habitual. And however it started, now you have taken on the characteristics of a narcissist. I'm what you would call a healthy narcissist. I can still empathize with people. I'm very empathetic. Um, I don't like the attention on me all of the time. I tend to shy away from attention, but that's a trait that a narcissist can carry as well. Um, Signs and traits of a narcissist: someone who has a very large ego, someone who constantly has to be praised for the things that they do and say, someone who feels entitled,
Mm.
who constantly have vision and dreams of fame and being in a position of being important and being
Mm.
in a seat of power, control, the spirit of Jezebel. Um, that's heavy in a narcissistic trait.
Wow.
People think that narcissism is not a trait. When you hear narcissist, people automatically say, "Oh my God, that's so bad." Most people, when they look in the mirror, looking back at them, is a narcissist.
Mm. You,
You constantly want to be praised. You even people that have. I did not know that somebody with low self-esteem, that is somebody who very well fits the
mhm.
description of a narcissist.
Wow.
Um, People think that it's just people with big egos and they think that it's only in relationships, but it can be when it comes to your children, it can be when it comes to your friends, your family. Being a narcissist, you don't discriminate off of um whoever your supply is. And when I say supply, that means human.
Mm.
What can you do to me? Because a narcissist, they need you to be at a low for them
Mhm.
to get a high.
Oh, that's
So
good.
once,
That's
yeah,
good.
once you're at a low,
Mhm.
now I get high off of that. And this is how it
Wow.
started for me. It started for me in my past relationship.
Mhm.
He was a hardcore narcissist. I'm
Mhm.
talking about he would get me amped up, so angry, and I would hold it, hold it, hold it. A narcissist provoke. They like to provoke and antagonize.
Mm.
And
Okay.
when you try to die down and say, "Let me get some space and let me breathe," they'll keep poking at you and poking until you explode. Then
Wow.
they'll do something like this. They'll start recording you. Look at her. Look what
Wow.
she doing. She breaking my stuff. Look at
Wow.
her. She just hit me. Ow,
So
why
you
you
say
hitting
they
me?
push and they push until
And
you
then they
literally.
turn around And now
and
the world
act
is like, oh
like
my God, why are you with this person? This person is
right,
terrible. This, but they never say what they did to get you to that peak.
right.
Now you are looked at as delusional and deranged and unstable and out of control, but
Wow,
they
you know
don't know what took place to
that's
get you
amazing.
to that peak. They just think you just said that and this person just went off the just off the handles like that, but it's a buildup. And once you get to that peak, it's like a release. It's like I
It's like
don't
somebody
want to be
getting
too
high.
explicit, but this is
It's
how I'm
like
gonna
somebody
say
getting
it.
high.
It's almost like if you're being intimate and when you hit that peak, it's like that moment of this is the highest place I can get to. That's what it is for them. It feeds them and it that gives them peace to see you without peace. And that it started off as a tit for tat for me. And then when you entertain spirits and you're not living your life right, and you have opened yourself up to say, I allow you, I enter you in, I allow you to come into and inhabit my body. That's what begins to happen. And now that becomes you. And that's what happened over the years. I practiced it and it became me. It was like, you do it to me, I'm going to do it to you, until I started to become that. And now I'm in the process in this new chapter in my life of asking God to help me with releasing that spirit.
Okay.
I constantly have to remind myself. I constantly have to tell myself, don't do that. Don't provoke the situation. Don't, because what provokes me is my anger.
Right.
Once I'm rubbed, the narcissist comes out. I'm not that way all the time. I don't live my life looking for the next thing to suck the life out of. I don't
Wow.
suffer from the personality disorder, but I definitely have the traits, and I am what you would call a healthy narcissist.
Let me say this, Tiffany. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You brought up earlier, so I want to go back because you brought up earlier a valid point. You were talking about the mental portion of it. A lot of people would say this, that a narcissist is a type of person that do a lot of gaslighting. Uh, they say one thing, but just like you said, their response is something different. But you touched on the mental aspects of it, and I want you to dive into that. And I know you defined it, but dive into the mental components of a narcissist. What drives this person? Is it the fact that they had a bad childhood? Because most people say that an alcoholic start from a childhood. Most people say being a domestic violence assailant is a person that had domestic violence in their house. But what drives, what is the root cause of a narcissist? How is it created? Is it something, I know you say everybody have a touch of it, but what's the driving force of it?
Um, life experiences, and usually the younger you are, the younger the trauma starts, uh, the more prone you'll be to have those traits or become a full-blown narcissist. It depends on how deep the trauma was and how it affected you. So many times we think we deal with a situation, but subconsciously it's still very much alive in the back of our heads.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's almost like we mirror our subconscious without realizing it, and realizing where it stemmed from. And it's only until you get to a place that you're okay with looking at yourself and picking yourself apart, that you'll be able to be okay with identifying who you are, acknowledging who you are, and now working towards being a better version of who you are. Um, so it's just how deep the trauma is. And some people, unfortunately, you have a lot of narcissists that would never admit that they're a narcissist.
So true.
They're not even aware that they're narcissists. If you were to tell them that, they would get offended. They would get
Very.
highly offended. It's nothing to be offended about. Um, it's just to acknowledge and to do something about it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I want to you're my spiritual mom, so I'm going to speak about this. When I seen the title, I'm going to tell you how bad I battle with the healthy narcissism. When I read the title and I said, "Oh, we're going to hear from a narcissist itself." The first thing that the narcissist in me said was, "Well, what is she trying to say?" Then Tiffany said to myself, I said, "Well, Tiffany, remember when you said you was a narcissist?" And then I said, "Yeah, but I didn't dive deep into what I was saying." So, like, to just plow, put it like that, I was like, hold up. And today, God did a lot of talking to me, and He said, "You have the traits of a narcissist."
Oh
Because
my
I said,
God.
"God, am I really a narcissist?" I know I said that, but I didn't even mean to say that. You made me say that. And I started talking to God, and God was like, "You have the traits of a narcissist." And then I was like, hold up, but narcissism isn't a trait. Narcissism, that's a disorder. And God said, "No, you have a trait." That's when I began to research it, and I said, "Oh, I never been diagnosed medically being a narcissist, but I realized and I started to recognize the traits. And what helped me recognize the traits was towards the ending of my last relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I began to watch this person because God was dealing with me in such a different way that He was allowing me in arguments to step outside of myself and look at the argument and not
Yes.
say anything. The last few arguments, I didn't argue back. God said,
Mm-hmm.
shh. So I just was quiet. So it wasn't really an argument. I was just being yelled at. And I'm looking and I said, oh my God, that's what I look like.
This is
That's
real.
what I look like. That's what I sound like. Um, when the situation dies down, it's something in me that won't let it stay dead. It has to rise again. And I was like, wow, like now I'm seeing and I'm recognizing who who I'm dealing with and what I'm dealing with.
Yes.
And this is myself.
Right.
This is myself.
One thing you said that stands out, and that's everybody have some type of trait or characteristic defect within them that they may not never identify. But the fact that you said, uh, I was a narcissist, people don't say things like that. Just as you stated, what they do is begin to transform, but they never want. And this the problem with, if in order to be healed, let me go back, because I understand in order for everyone to be healed, you have to first confess that you desire or need healing before that healing even takes place. If you never confess or if you never desire, then you're going to stay in a place of being afflicted, if you would. However, I'm reminding myself even now, when used to go to the NA meetings with my cousin, the first thing they would say is, "My name is Cint and I'm an addict." And in response, they say, "Hey, Cint, welcome to the whatever," and start sharing your day. We've got to get people to the point where they feel like people are not judging them or pointing fingers at them, but all of us that are humans have some type of issue or some type of characteristic defect that we are dealing with. Like, that's just the God's honest truth. But you have to be willing to be real in order to receive that part. I need healing. Say, what's wrong with somebody saying, "I need healing"? I need to be delivered. I need to be transformed to get me to a place where I'm able to sit down with a Tiffany Velez and talk about my story. And even today, I love what you said. You was like, I looked at the flyer. I knew you was going to look at the flyer. I knew that automatically. I said, when she see it, it's gonna catch her off, and I knew that it would, because see, you bad at saying stuff, but when you see it, you be like, And so I knew God was going to take you through that. But even in that, what you did was you dived in. You went deeper and start searching for clarity and understanding, which is what all of us need to do instead of just taking on the identity of the transformer and not diving into it. But yet we'll gaslight with somebody else. But when it comes down to us, we don't want to put that mirror on us. We don't want to see our characteristic defects and our characteristic flaws. But you made so many valid points already. Just knowing that I can accept who I am, and now I'm talking about myself, knowing that I can accept myself with all my characteristic defects, but also acknowledging the fact that I need help. And that's where we need to get people that are narcissistic, are being affected by narcissists, get them to a point where they can honestly say, I'm healed, I'm transformed, I don't want to be this way. I realized that I had issues. But until people acknowledge the fact that they have issues and everybody's not perfect, if you come from a black family, you have issues, I promise you. And you said something earlier, and I'm going to go back, because the addiction is, for me, when you stated it, it's like chasing that first high. The crackhead always trying to go back and feel the same way. And so we have to come to the realization of what I do from the point where I make a decision to now acknowledge the fact that I want to be healed. Because even in that, some people pull up a defense. And so when it comes down to someone else sharing with you, you need help, or somebody else saying that you're a narcissist, or somebody saying you crazy, or you're a domestic person, all of those things we have to realize will be a part of the healing process. So where do you start with that healing process of confessing and moving forward?
Well, you start with yourself, usually is when you get to your low,
That's it.
your lowest.
Mm-hmm.
And when God is always there and he's always speaking, we know that, but it's when you actually take the time to hear his voice, take the time to acknowledge his presence. And then one day you'll just be sitting there and it's like he'll begin to speak. Sometimes God speaks at some of the weirdest moments, but it's the perfect moment. And I remember, for instance, I was sitting on the couch, and a lot of people think when you're in ministry, or they like to pretend that when you're in ministry, you don't deal with these things and you don't have these issues because everybody got to look the best and look so polished and cleaned up and put together, but at your own demise. And at other people's, because you're not being real, you're not being honest, you're not real attracts real, and that's just what it is. It was a moment that I was sitting down on the couch, and remember the story that you tell the story when you were in the mall and you wanted to buy a pair of shoes and you didn't have no money and you begin to have a fit in the middle of the mall and boohoo cry. Well, that's how I am with men. Anytime there's a moment, I always have to be wanted by a man. That's something that I've struggled with. So this is my transparency today. That's something, and people that know me personally know that. That started with my daddy, because I felt rejected by the first man of my life. So every man that came into my life, I had to prove to myself that I was valuable enough to be wanted, because being wanted was enough. Not being wifed, but being wanted, being desired was enough. But everybody, we know, once you start to get in God, that lust, temptation, desire, that all goes hand in hand. And I would go on this high. Men were my fix. So anytime a man didn't show me the attention that I wanted, I always had another one. I always had another one. It was like Guys would always say, "You always got another one in your back pocket." I did. It was like, "Well, you're unavailable, but he is, and he's not available, and I really don't want to see him, and he's boring, but he's going to give me the attention that he didn't have time to give me because he was with his girlfriend, or he was at work, or he had something to do. So I guess you could be something to do. I don't want you, but I want you to want me because
Mm,
that's my high. And
come
as
on.
long as I'm wanted,
Come on.
I'm validated."
Come on.
And I would go on this high because I would get so wrapped up in this fantasy
Come on.
of being wanted. Sometimes reality and fantasy starts to mesh together and you
Come
can't
on.
dissect the two.
Come on.
And that's what would happen. Then I would find myself heartbroken, and I would find myself angry, and I would find myself now having violent rages, and I would find myself now having the narcissistic behaviors. And I'm like, how do I get them back? See, that's how it started with me. How do I get them back in my palm? How do I get them back wanting me?
Mm,
Manipulation. When you're a
mm,
narcissist, manipulate. See, there's a lot of manipulators that think that you would call them a narcissist and they would say, "How dare you? I'm
right.
not a narcissist, you are." That's a trait. That's one of the biggest traits. Manipulating people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to, men was like a science project to me. God, it still ain't all the way out my system. God is doing something with me. This is it's the painful part because God is saying, I'm saying I want it, and God is saying, no, you can't have it. And I'm like, but I want it. But God say, but man doesn't validate you. I do. And I said, but God, you are validating me, but I want that quick high. You validate me and later I'll see it, but I need to see it now. I need to feel good now. Nothing felt good better to me than that high. So it's like, okay, I need to feel that high again. What can I do? What can I say? Whatever I needed to do or say to get you back in my corner, that's what I did. Even
Right.
if that meant, okay, I have to go to now tear you apart. Whatever your weakness is, I'm going to pick at it and I'm going to pick it apart, but I'm going to do it in such a loving way that you don't even realize that I'm doing it. And then by the time you realize I'm doing it, I've already turned around and I've made you feel so good. You're not even angry at me. It's just like you look at me and you say, every guy I have ever been with has said, "You crazy." And deep in my heart, I know they serious and they dead serious. They look at me, they like, "You crazy." And I look at them, I say, "You crazy too." Because you just keep coming back. You just as crazy as me.
But
But
this is
it's
not the
almost like when you it's a lot of people that deal with water demons, leviathan spirits and mermaid spirits. They have the narcissist behavior very heavy. It's very heavy on them, and it's something about how you can just lure somebody in. You have to have the gift of being able to lure somebody in to be able to really harness that trait of a narcissist. You have to know how to captivate someone and then keep them. And whatever you're good at, that's what keeps them coming back. And that's what keeps your high going. No, yes, it was a quick fix for me. That's why I had so many. Because when I couldn't do it with you, I needed somebody to tear down so that I can feel like I was up here. Because I always used to say, men are so stupid. That's what I felt about my father. Men are so dumb. They so dumb. They ain't good for nothing but sex, and that's it.
Let me ask you this
They
question, Tiffany.
mm-hmm.
Because a man hurt you when you was a child, why were you
Yes.
still drawn to men, and why did you have that strong appetite and desire, even though a man hurt you the way they did?
Because of molestation. Because of molestation. So now you have yes, I was hurt by the first man that was supposed to love me, but I was also molested by men and boys too, girls too. So you almost like, it's almost like a love hate relationship. It's almost like I love you, but I hate you. And my last relationship, he used to always say to me, I don't want to sleep with you. I want to, but I'm scared because every time I do, afterwards, it's like we get into a heated, drag out argument, fight, something happens like immediately afterwards. And that's what it was for me. It's like, well, after I get my fix, deep down inside, I don't like you. I don't like you. I just need something from you because that's what keeps me going. And you supply that for me. And if I don't get this from you, then I don't have what I need. I need this. This keep me going. It keeps me up and feeling good about myself. So I
Right.
need this. But now that this is over,
Mm-hmm.
how I really feel about you is about to come out. Like, I don't want you next to me. I don't want you to touch my stuff. I don't want you to look at me. Don't call me. Don't text me until the next time.
So, in other words, you became the dominant one in the fling or in the relationship or whatever that you have. So now let's get into my situation because you now on my road. My thing, because I was raped and molested as well, is that my purpose was for men to fall in love with me and then I walk away because I had the power at that point to turn their hearts and their minds any way that I desired. I desired that because a man hurt me. I didn't desire it because I wanted to be with a man. I desired it because a man hurt me. And so many times we find ourselves, and when you were talking earlier, I was like, you know what? I can see that in sin because of the fact that when you've gone through so many things, especially as a child, it's like I have to get revenge in some sort of way. And I hear you saying, although you laid with him, it was still an essence of revenge that you took because after it was gone and after you received what you need, you was out of there. It was just like, don't call me, don't talk to me. So you took the dominant part of the partnership or the sexual whatever you had going on. I could see that. I can see a lot of people actually in that same posture, but they probably never say anything about it. They probably never say, you know what, I'm a child abuser because of this reason. I'm a molester because of this reason. I'm a narcissist because of this reason. I hate men because of this, or I hate women. It's a lot of locked up emotions that are still inside of people. And instead of people confronting their issues yet again, here we go back to the issues, they begin to just allow themselves to live every day in that capacity, which is definitely dangerous because one day the true hurt and pain is going to come out. And we have to learn how to be somebody that we're not. That's why I say transformer. We can't afford to transform. And Apostle Cint can at this point in my life, I can't afford to transform into something that I should have transformed in a long time ago. I had to step up to the plate and say, you know what? I got issues. I have to deal with my issues. In order for me to help somebody else, I understand I had to become the living sacrifice. But now I'm at this point, I got to help somebody else. And so, in order to do that, we got to teach the people how to be healed, how to be real, how to confess it, how to come out. Because if we don't, they're going to stay locked up and they're going to
Yes.
keep chasing, just like you said, they're going to keep chasing that orgasm that they desire. They're going to keep chasing that one drink, that one hit of crack, or the last smoke of weed, or whatever their appetite. Just like with mine, I had an addiction of shopping. You're going to keep doing things until you run out. Like you said earlier, you got to run down in order to receive what God has for you to pick you back up, and then you transform your life. But it's a process. Would you agree that it's a
Yes.
process? Because how many
Yes.
relationships and how many men you had to lay down with? I'm just saying not you, but I'm saying in general. How many did people have to lay down with? Or how low was the self-esteem? Or, the batter or the abuse or the fights? Or how many felonies did somebody get? Or how many misdemeanors once they realize, you know what, I got an issue. And my issue is going to be deadly in a minute. I have to stop doing this. At what
Hmm.
point we get to that place? Do it take you to stab somebody? And I remember I did that when I was in high school, and he was my boyfriend. I literally stabbed him. I literally stabbed because we were playing outside. He was playing too rough. He hit my triggers, and when he triggered me, I immediately went off, ran in the kitchen, got a knife, and I stabbed him. And everybody at school thought I was crazy. And then I came into school like nothing happened. But at the end of the day, you triggered something that was not healed. So at what point
Hmm.
do you get to the place where you say enough is enough?
You get to the point. For me, it became life and death. For me, it got to the point that I knew I was, I was getting to this place of, if he don't kill me, I'ma kill him. I'ma really kill him. Like, I used to sit down and look at him while he was sleeping. I'd be like, he lay down next to me and sleep next to me, and he let me wash his clothes and cook his food, and I just was just, oh, so many things were going through my mind. And I said, God, I remember telling God, if you don't, one of us is gonna die. He gonna kill me, I'm gonna kill him. Because
Wow.
we both narcissists, and we both have this thing that we want to be in control, and we're both possessive, but
Mm.
we're both so messed up. We are so messed up and so broken. We're
Woo.
sucking each other dry. There's no more, there was never no any nutrition coming from this, but now there's nothing. It's empty, and we're still trying to pull whatever we could pull, and we're literally draining each other. I was watching him spiritually die as he was watching me spiritually die, and we were just killing each other, then loving each other, then killing each other, then loving each other. And it was like one day I just said, I don't want to do this no more. I said, I don't want to do this no more. This is crazy. Everybody has been saying for so long that we're crazy. This is crazy. This is toxic. And I said, it is. And it's going to take for one of us to say, that's it. I
Mm.
told him, I said, I'm ready to heal. I'm ready
Right.
to heal now. I have gotten to the point, I have been broken my whole life, as long as I can remember. I have cried tears of pain for as long as I can remember. I have carried people around me since at least the age of 3. That's as far as it goes
Wow.
back for me, but I'm sure it's since birth.
Wow.
I don't know how to not feel the people around me. So I'm feeling everything around me, and then I'm feeling everything that's compiled on me. It is taking me out of here. I can't handle it. I'm not in a mental state, a spiritual state to take on everything that's on top of me, and I'm ready to just release it. I want to heal. I want to know what it feels like to be happy. I want to know what it feels like to be in a healthy relationship. I want to know what it feels like to have a healthy state of mind. And
Wow.
it is a battle. It
It is.
is a serious battle. But once you say yes, like, I accept you, God, I need the help, I want the help, He will start to show you yourself in ways that He never allowed you to see yourself before. And that spirit will still fight. It will
Right.
fight to stay, because we know that entities don't want to leave. They want
Right.
to inhabit your body, and they need you to be able to operate in a physical manner. And I said, no more. No more. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to feel this emptiness. I want I don't want to have a feeling of love, but I want to have love. I don't
Amen.
want somebody to make me feel good, but I want to feel good all the time, whether I have somebody or I don't have somebody. And then when that somebody finally does come, whether they're there or whether they're gone, I still feel good. I
That's
want
beautiful.
to experience that. And I've never had that before. And God said, I'm about to allow you to experience that. And now I'm in a place that He's allowing me to slowly get to a place where I can start to experience life and love, but I have to take off all of the stuff that I was carrying. And
Oh,
again, we go back to that song been in my spirit so deep for the past couple of months, Erica Badu, Bag Lady. It has such a powerful
for
meaning.
me.
And it's like you got to take that stuff off. You have to put those bags down so you can be free, so you can operate at the height that you're supposed to, so you can move with the momentum that you need to exceed where you are and get to the next level and break down the barriers, because you have to do it, because the people behind you, they're waiting for you to do it. You were chose for this appointed time. It had to be you, because there's many times I said, well, God, why it had to be me? Why was my mother? Like, why it wasn't her? I just have to be honest. Why wasn't her? Why wasn't my sister? Why wasn't my cousin? Why wasn't my grandmother? Like, why is it me? And God said, because it had to be you. It couldn't be nobody else. Nobody could do it like you do it. Nobody could do it like you do it. I had to have you do it. You and so many times we try to fight it. We try to fight the voice of God. We try to, God say my hand is on you, and you be like, God, raise that hand up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just let me get away with just a little bit. And God is like, I need you now. The time is now. The time is now. All of my insecurities, all of my fears, God has made me live them. God has made me live them. Um, so today is, and He actually just dropped this into my spirit. So somebody must need it. What is the excuse? You have experienced everything that you have ever feared. Everything that you have ever feared of experiencing, you have experienced it. You have experienced homelessness. You have experienced broken hearts. You have experienced STDs. You have experienced miscarriages. You
Come
have
on.
experienced burying a baby and putting him
Come
in the
on.
ground. You have
Come on.
experienced having a child with
Come on.
with medical issues
Come
that
on.
can put her in the ground. You
Come
have
on.
experienced it all. Everything that you said you was afraid of, I made you live it. So what are you now afraid of?
What
Now
are you
you
afraid
live.
of? Yes.
Live.
Yes. Yes.
Live. I
Yes.
had to take you through those things.
Come
I
on.
had to take you through those things. I had to drag you through the mud. I had to push you in the furnace, and because I had to prove who I was. You
Come
came
on.
out of the fire unburned.
Come
What
on.
are you afraid of?
Come on.
Live. Don't allow a title to dictate who you are.
Come on.
I called you peculiar. I called you the apple of my eye. I named you. So who is man to name you, and you bow down to the name that man gave you, when I gave you a name so great, so beautiful, that only I know?
Come on.
There's a name waiting for you, but
Come
I
on.
need you to cross and get to the other side of Jordan so that you can obtain that name. So, as being a narcissist, a healthy narcissist, that means I have empathy for people. I love people. I don't want to see people hurt. I don't, yes, I suffer from personality disorder. That has been something that has been trying to take a hold of my life, but God is like, we about to break you out of that too. We about to break, you ain't gonna be, that's why. And some people would say, go to a doctor, go to a doctor. I won't, because I already know they're gonna call me schizophrenic. I ain't schizophrenic. Ain't nothing schizophrenic about me. They're just looking with their physical eyes. They're looking with their physical eyes. I'm not sitting on the couch wasting my time, wasting Medicaid, Medicare, any of that, for somebody to put a title on me when I
Yes.
know that I'm a prophet. They don't know that I'm a prophet. They don't know who I am. They don't know the power that I possess, but I'm not doing that.
Come on.
Some people say you just go and get the medicine. For what? God is my medicine. There's people that meet me and they don't know that I have a personality disorder. They don't know that I suffer from bipolar and manic depression and manic episodes. They don't know that and would never know that if I didn't tell them. Would never know. So why do I need to go sit on somebody's couch and lay there and tell them my problems for them to say, here, take this pill. And that pill is going to make me have side effects to act this way and that way and that way. Now we're not dealing with the issue. We're putting band-aids on the issue.
Come on
And we're
now.
not being delivered and we're not being healed, but we're being mummified and zombified. And I don't have time for that because there's a nation that God called me to.
There's a nation he called you to.
And nobody that's listening to this has time for that because God called us to something greater.
Yes.
To focus on today, say, yes, I am a narcissist. I have narcissistic traits. Now, God, how do I get over those traits? How do I get to the next level? How do I rid myself of those demons that are trying to take me out of here? Because that's all it is. That is all it is. Jealousy, envy, being prideful, being boastful. When you name all of those things, those are everything that God said he don't like. He don't like those things. Those things are not of him. So if it's not of him, then who is it of? So now you ask God, I go to the doctor who can there's only one doctor that can fix what I'm going through because I'm a prophet. I understand that. There's only one doctor that can heal what I need him to heal and who could fix what I need fixed. Only one. There's only one that could prescribe the medication that I need because it's spiritual medicine. It has nothing to do with a pill that somebody made in a lab. I don't need that. I don't need that. So that just balls it up right there.
Are you sure you finished? Do you need to release
Yes,
more? Are you sure you don't really? We
I'm
excited.
sure.
Everything. Listen, the woman of God said you on fire. Apostle Gibbs said, "Go ahead and testify." Tiffany, you helping somebody? Listen,
I
Minister
do want to
Rocco,
say one thing.
come on.
Apostle Gibbs told me when I was 17 years old, she said, I got pregnant with my son. And she said, don't worry about what people say because he's not a mistake.
Uh-oh.
It's not until right now
Come on.
that God said, see, 13 years later, he says, see, I needed you to birth him. After you birthed him, I was so angry. It was around when he was 4 or 5. I was like, God, I hate men. Why did you make me have a son? I hate men. It's so ironic you would give me a son. I hate men. Then I turned around and my second child, I wanted a girl so bad. I had a son. Then I turned around and I got pregnant again. Yes, I had a daughter, but then I had another son. Then I had another son. And I said, God, why you keep bringing me all these boys? And God said, because Joshua had to soften your heart to men. He had to. You fell in love with a little boy that you thought you would never love. You thought you would never love a man. You're looking at, he's a boy today, but he'll grow to be a man that you raised. How God works so awesome. A man that you will love and adore. That's your son. God allowed me to birth Joshua right when I did. Because if I didn't, he said, you don't even understand. You thought that it was catastrophic, that your life has been that. But if you wouldn't have birthed him when you did, the road that you would go down, because my hate for men ran deep, deeper than I knew. I didn't realize how deep it ran till I met the father of my children. I didn't understand it. I didn't know that it was that I hated men that to that extent. And then I had this son, and so you become conflicted because you like, oh, I can't hate men because then I'm raising my son, and then he gonna know that I hate men, and then how does that work? Because I don't want him to think I hate him because I don't hate him. But now I'm a hypocrite. What's happening? There was a change that was already happening. I didn't understand it. And I tried to fight the change. And but then God, even with me still being abusive to men, and he witnessed it. He witnessed my abuse to men and everything. God said, but I needed you. to have him, because one day you're gonna look, and now my son is going to high school, and I'm like, if a little girl, she could catch it. She could catch it over my son. Like, I'm like, I would never ever want anything bad to come my children's way. I pray for them. I lay before God for them. I nurse them back to health. I feed them. I clothe them.
Yes. Yes.
They're going to be men. They're going to
Yes.
grow to be men,
Yes.
powerful men.
Yes.
God said, look, the one who hated men, look what you've done. Look what you've done. Look how amazing they are. That's what you did. And when you just allow God to just do his thing, even when you don't understand what's happening, you'll see it. But again, for me, it was 13 years later, almost 14, because he'll be 14 in a few months. But nevertheless, God allowed me to see it. And so
Listen.
I'm grateful for that. We're not going to let narcissistic behavior control us. The next time you hear somebody call you a narcissist or say somebody's a narcissist, there's so many different types. And don't look at it as a bad thing. Just look at it as, I need to reevaluate myself. I need to check myself, and I need to be delivered from some things. And I just want to name some of the different types of narcissism: lack of empathy, need of admiration, entitlement, arrogant behavior, envy, inflated ego, arrogance, somebody who doesn't set boundaries, doesn't have boundaries, somebody that's insecure, have low confidence in themselves, manipulative, somebody that's constantly in difficult relationship. You jump out of one bad relationship, jump in the next. That's a trait. Somebody that's arrogant and loud, an attention seeker, um, somebody that always want to sit in a seat of um, sup- I can't say the word. I'm trying to, is right there, but I can't say it. Somebody that always want to sit in a seat of power. So those are just some things, but the list go on and on. And when you look at it in that way and you see how wide of a range it is, you tend to not be so offended, because we all know somebody with those traits, if not ourselves. So that's what I wanted to leave everybody with.
Well, I sure appreciate it since you took over. So,
Sorry.
Tiffany, you are so very intelligent. I am so very, very proud of you. And God is doing and has done a phenomenal job. And I'm just grateful because you allowed him to, because you made a decision to allow God to come in and heal you or start the process. And for that reason, I'm so grateful. You could have given up. You could have given up when you lost your child. It was hard, but you still fought to come back. And so I just want to say openly to you how godly proud I am. I don't care how hard things get. You are a true fighter from the womb of the spirit. You always come back harder. You always come back smarter. I don't know, more powerful, more submissive, if you would, because you desire the things of God. And so I just want to share with you how you've let your guards down. You're not as defensive like you were years ago. I'm telling you, you have so much and so many people to really help. You really do. And so tonight, I really want you to consider you have Tiffany's Open Your Heart Diaries, but you really need to dive into that. You need to open it up to a platform just like this where you begin to invite people so they can talk about the issues of their heart. And so, because you have so much wealth of knowledge and encouragement and empowerment to share. So I definitely want you to consider that. But thank you so much for your transparency, your real, your raw, just taking out your time for your family on tonight to be with us. I'm telling you, it is definitely an honor every time I hear you open your mouth. It's just a array and a plethora of knowledge. So thank you again for taking this opportunity to come on with us tonight, for sharing with the listeners, those that will come back later and listen. I'm telling you, I love it. I love everything that you're saying, from the beginning stages to the confession stages to the healing stages to the hate to the addiction. All of it is a part of narcissism and narcissistic. And so my goal for bringing you is to let other people hear, just like you said, I'm not that narcissist person. I'm on this side. And so many people don't even know it's a difference, because all they say is a narcissist, a narcissist, a narcissist. And if you don't dive in to study, then you won't know that. Because again, the number one characteristic trait of a narcissist is to transform and to gaslight. And they do that on a regular basis because they don't want to be found out. But I love the way that you brought it tonight. And I thank you so much for such a powerful hour of just conversation with Real and with Raw. But anything else you have to say before we close down for the night?
No, that's it. I've shared everything. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Minister Rockmore said you need the heart. She branding for you. She brands. She marketing and branding for you. She said you need the heart table. You need a heart table podcast. She said you need a podcast.
Okay. I'll talk to Minister Rockmore.
That's what she said. I love it. And Apostle Gibbs is definitely proud of you. She said Tiffany is awesome. I have always been proud of her. She is going to help many that are lost, men and women. The kingdom of God needs warriors. Actually, let me just post it. But she said the kingdom of God needs warriors. But she is definitely proud of you. And I tell you, we all are. Tiffany, you are phenomenal and amazing to be your age. I can only see your growth in 5 years. It's going to be it's unlimited. It's unlimited. So thank you again for coming on. Are you sure you don't have anything else to say?
I'm sure. I'm
You sure?
sure.
You're absolutely positive. I think you should open the conversation up though, Tip, on your podcast or your broadcast that you have. You definitely need to consider inviting others, because I think uh, just like hurt people, helping people help people. So we want to be
Hmm.
to everybody that we can. But I love you and I appreciate you again and
Love you too.
again. I am so godly proud of you. I don't care what anybody say. I'm staying 10 toes down with you. And I'm gonna stay in the fight, because I believe that you haven't seen nothing yet. This is only a blink or a glimpse of what God is about to do in your life. And again, push the books and do everything else. I'm telling you, you have so much inside of you. Okay, let me stop. Uh, all of the listeners tonight, thank you all for joining this show on Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling. My guest has been phenomenal, so I'm just praising her because I'm so proud. You all just don't even understand. As I tell her all the time, I remember the call we had for 4 hours, literally for 4 hours. I got lost talking to her because we were just, in a conversation. There was a deep conversation about life, spiritual and natural. So again, I thank Tiffany and I appreciate how far she's come. Whew. It's nothing but the grace of God that she's here. And you look amazing and spectacular in your glasses and your earrings. I got to definitely get a two for that, because you are definitely pretty with what you have on. So thank you. Again, that's our segment on tonight. Listen, guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's Friday night in Atlanta, Georgia. You could have been anywhere you wanted to be, but you are here with me with my powerful guest. I'm telling you, this is a woman of God that have much, much to say. You all find her on social media at Tiffany Velez, or Tiffany, what's the name of your show, Tip?
It's Tiffany's Open Heart Diary.
What time do you do it?
Well, I randomly go on and do stuff, but like you said, I need to go on a little bit more, and that's what I'm gonna start doing. I kind of want to revamp the page, so it's gonna be updated. I just need God to tell me what to do. So
Okay.
everything has been on pause, but it still is open for you to become a member of the group.
Okay. All right, there it is from her mouth. I'm telling you, you all be looking on the lookout for her, Tiffany Velez, Open Heart Diaries, and she's going to be doing some different things. And we're going to push her. I know I am until it gets done because that's what I do. I love you all, and thank you so much again for joining Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling. And I am your host tonight, Dr. Cint Gilstrap. God bless you. Have a wonderful, powerful, prosperous night. Until next time. Bye bye.